If you're looking to take full advantage of the Thunderbolt 5 ports on your Apple M4 computer and possibly circumvent Apple's outrageous storage upgrade pricing, you may want to consider this: the OWC Envoy Ultra Thunderbolt 5 external SSD. First debuted in September 2024, when OWC announced the Envoy Ultra, there wasn't really a compatible device that took full advantage of it. But now there are, and there probably are enough of them in the market that can really take advantage of what this drive can offer. When it comes to the physical design, OWC didn't stray too far from its tried and true designs when it created the Envoy Ultra. We've seen fanless designs before, and they've worked remarkably well over the years I've had them in use. No issues at all. So again, the Envoy Ultra relies on heat sinking via metal cutouts around the body. 3 cuts around the sides of the SSD to be exact, while the rest of it is a simple black metal surface. The top is featureless outside of the OWC branding, while the bottom has silicone strips to keep it from sliding around on a slick table. So while the Envoy Ultra shares the handsome, sculpted styling of the Thunderbolt 3 Envoy Pro FX before it, it's a tad larger, measuring around 5 inches long. So truth be told, it's about as large and heavy as a device like this can get before it becomes more inconvenient to carry around. As it stands though, it's a nice, sleek, portable drive. That being said, unfortunately, OWC again went with an integrated cable. While it does mean the cable is always there and ready to use, and although I'm not particularly scared of damaging the cable through snapping or bending, I wouldn't ignore it as a possibility either. It's always something I think about when I put it in my travel bag, making sure there's adequate slack on the cable so it doesn't bend too far, for instance. More than anything, it's just inconvenient. Not even OWC's desktop SSD RAID arrays have an integrated cable, so seeing it here on something that is marketed as a portable feels a little strange. Even so, it certainly does feel solid enough as a drive. Even if push comes to shove, opening up the drive shows the standard Thunderbolt 5 cable could actually be replaced should the need arise, which is a definite win. While I wouldn't recommend opening your drive like this as it could void any warranty, notice the plentiful use of thermal pads across the chipsets as well as the SSD, which is nice, and even the blue rubber gasket that seals the two halves together, making the unit not only crush proof but also IP67 dust proof and waterproof too. That's the highest dust rating that IP provides, and also means the SSD can be submerged in up to a meter of water for 30 minutes. And note that's partly thanks to that built-in cable. OWC says the drive is built like a tank, and honestly, I'd agree. One of the biggest benefits OWC is offering with this drive then is its thermal management. As a bus-powered, wholly sealed, fanless SSD, heavy use might see the SSD overheat, causing thermal throttling. In testing, I wasn't seeing any of that though. When it was under heavy loads, it did naturally warm to the touch, but never got nearly as hot as other SSDs I've tested. As a result, it doesn't appear to ever dip in performance, and provides the same speeds regardless of how hard you work it. In addition, most SSDs show some slowdown when filled to near capacity. The OWC Envoy Ultra doesn't do that either. In fact, it doesn't seem to care what you're doing, it'll just plain perform. It did show its slowest write performance when it was full, but it is by a tiny margin of less than 40 megabytes per second. Otherwise, it is remarkably consistent. Its thermal management is also on point here, as it continues to perform at peak consistency throughout. Repeated speed tests of the Envoy Ultra showed no such slowing or throttling, ever. It just performs remarkably well no matter what you throw at it. Note that you'll need a capable system to run this thing though. That being said, when compared to Apple's jaw-dropping SSD upgrade pricing, the Envoy Ultra's steep cost suddenly seems less outrageous. For those users who genuinely need the fastest external storage available and have a compatible Mac setup, this external SSD offers an appealing alternative. It's also worth mentioning that the SSD used inside the Envoy Ultra, the Aura Pro 4 SSD, was first launched in 2022 and is beginning to show its age compared to some newer SSD technologies entering the market. It's the same SSD found in the OWC Express 1 M2 in fact, which is a couple of years old in itself. I'd certainly like to see it with a newer generation SSD at some point in the near future. So in summary then, my overall experience with the OWC Envoy Ultra left me impressed with its raw speed and quality construction, as long as you have a recent computer spec to run the thing that is. It's an external SSD undeniably aimed at a very niche segment. Professionals or enthusiasts running the latest Thunderbolt 5 hardware who prioritize absolute speed over universal flexibility. That being said, there are now several Thunderbolt 5 drives on the market that can compete and offer better backwards compatibility with other ports and interfaces too. In addition, Thunderbolt 3 or USB 4 SSDs are still plenty fast, cheaper, and far more compatible with older hardware and software. But if you demand the best and want to stay at the cutting edge of technology, the Envoy Ultra certainly deserves a spot at the top of your wish list.